Next, we're going to talk about slope and some of its applications. So there are many different ways you can write slope. Most of you think first, rise over run. Some of you may know delta y over delta x, which means change in y over change in x, which leads us to the formula y2 minus y1 to figure out the change in y over x2 minus x1 to figure out the change in x. Or lastly, some of you may say m based on your y equals mx plus b equation. So just to go through different things about slope, positive slopes go uphill from left to right, and negative slopes go downhill from left to right. Vertical lines have a slope of undefined, and their equation would be x equals h. There is no y in that, and so you have an x-intercept at h, 0. Horizontal lines, on the other hand, have a slope of 0. The way I remember that is the word horizontal has an O in it, and the equation would then be y equals a number, or y equals k, and so the y-intercept then would be at 0k. Parallel lines have the same slope, therefore the slope of one equation, or m sub 1, would equal the slope of another equation or line, which is m sub 2. And the symbol for parallel is your two sticks side by side. Then perpendicular lines have opposite reciprocal slopes. And therefore, if you multiply the two slopes together, so m1 times m2, you should get a negative 1. So think of, for example, if one of the slopes is a half, the opposite reciprocal would be negative 2, and if you multiply those together, you do indeed get negative 1. So the symbol for perpendicular is the upside down T. So for example, find the slope between the 2 points and also between the other 2 points. Are they parallel, perpendicular, or neither? So our first slope, we will do 2 minus 8 over negative 4 minus 4. So that gives us negative 6 over negative 8, which reduces to a positive 3/4. So that was for this set of points. If we do it then for the next set of points, that slope is going to equal, we can do 1/3 minus a negative 5, so that turns to plus, and then over negative 1 minus 3. So if we change 5 into thirds, that'd be 15 thirds. So altogether, that'd be 16 thirds on the top. And then negative 1 minus 3 is negative 4. So we've talked about how to simplify complex fractions. You multiply by the denominator flipped over. And so if we do that, that would give us negative 4 thirds. So we've got a 3/4 and a negative 4 thirds. So these two slopes are perpendicular.